Y'all didn't think we were done with this chaos, right? Because man, we're only getting started. In case you haven't been keeping up, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, was fired on Friday. Right after that on Saturday, it looked like he was going to be joining again, but on Sunday, Emmett Shear, the old Twitch CEO, suddenly took the role instead. The board has been going a little crazy and the results are absurd. Most of the employees are ready to leave. Only 2 hours after Emmett took the role of CEO at OpenAI, Satya Nadella from Microsoft announced that Sam and Greg, who had left with Sam, would both be joining at Microsoft instead. But it turns out that might not even be happening because this is utter chaos. Satya Nadella did a bunch of interviews this morning, which would normally clarify the chaos like this. But these interviews only added to the chaos and made it clear that Satya doesn't even really know what's going on at this point, which is, to be frank, a bit absurd, but here we are. Don't think anyone would have expected things to go the way they have, but can't really control it at this point. So, what's going on right now? It looks like Microsoft is on damage control. Their biggest concern when they heard about the chaos on Friday, which they only heard about seconds before the general public did, they just want to make sure this doesn't damage both the plans they have to build cool things for their customers, but also the state of their business and the stock market, because this type of thing could absolutely kill Microsoft in the markets if they're not upfront, ready to go. And if Satya made anything clear in his interviews, it's that no matter what, the relationship between OpenAI's technology and Sam Altman alongside Microsoft will continue to move forward. He wanted to make sure they don't lose access to the technology or the people who are building it, regardless of what the board does. And they made this so clear that they actually publicly now have stated that they're okay with Sam and Greg going back to OpenAI. They made it very clear this will only happen if the current board resigns. This is crazy for a company like Microsoft and a CEO like Satya to come out so strongly against the actions and behavior of the current board. As they have put it, a fundamental restructuring would have to happen. Satya said directly,
"Yeah, I think we definitely will want some governance changes so that, surprises are bad."
When Microsoft offered Sam and Greg those positions, it wasn't just to Sam and Greg, it was to all of OpenAI. They did this strategically in order to give the existing company the leverage they needed to push back on the board and try and get things to go better for everyone involved. So this letter is from employees of the company. There's a lot of important callouts here, specifically that they are not happy with the board. They don't see a future of OpenAI working with the current board. They are incapable of overseeing OpenAPI. They're unable to work with them. But again, the really important piece here, we may choose to resign from OpenAI and join the newly announced Microsoft subsidiary run by Sam and Greg. Microsoft has assured us that there are positions for all OpenAPI employees at this new subsidiary should we choose to join. So again, if the board doesn't resign immediately, they're just going to leave. But this is where things get really interesting. See this list of people who signed? Obviously Mir's on this list, the CTO who became CEO, who then planned to bring back both Greg and Sam and immediately got demoted back, and then Emmett came in. But more importantly here, we see Ilya, who was one of the people most concerned about safety initially, and one of the ones who voted to have Sam kicked off as a member of the board, and also one of the original founders of OpenAI. I have a much longer video coming soon where I go deep in the history of both OpenAI and this crazy drama, and a lot of it's about Ilya, so make sure you're subscribed so you can see that when it happens. But one more piece about him before we move on is that he seems to be very regretful about what happened here. "I deeply regret my participation in the board's actions. I never intended to harm OpenAI. I love everything we've built together, and I will do everything I can to reunite the company." Bold statement, but very important. I appreciate that he's reflecting on what he's done wrong here, and this is probably the most hope I've had for OpenAI to survive this ordeal. But now we just have to wait to see what the rest of the board does. If they come along and they understand what happened here and they all resign, awesome, cool, we can move forward. If not, looks like OpenAI is just going to become a Microsoft thing. That's the current state of the drama. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date. Make sure you're subscribed again so you can see that long form history video that I've been doing nonstop research for. I think it's going to be really good. It's good seeing y'all as always. Feel free to check out whatever YouTube is putting there in the corner. I'm sure they'll do a decent enough job. Peace, nerds.